Hi folks, Glyn Dewis here. We're out and about on location doing a bit of videoing for some tutorials for the website, and while we're out here it's an ideal opportunity to do a quick review on this tripod that I've been sent by the guys over at Vanguard. Now this one here is the Pro 283 CGH carbon fibre tripod. I've had it for a short while now, given it a few trial runs, but before really I go into the review, I just want to kind of say to you that this is obviously my opinion. You know, I've got the kind of things that I do that are going to be maybe different to what you do. So when I say that there's something I like about this, you might find you don't like that, and vice versa. So this is, again, it's just purely my opinion and my impressions of this tripod, because when I was originally sent this, one of the first questions I had was, is it carbon fibre? Because I do a lot of travelling, so I want something that can be made to be quite small, and this generally can be quite small, so I think that would probably fit into my case when I'm travelling, and it also needs to be light. And this, again, it's made of carbon fibre, but the only thing that kind of ruins that for me, if you like, is that this is carbon fibre, meaning it's light and it's really, really strong, but the head that this 283 comes with is pretty heavy. So what's ordinarily could have been a nice light tripod is actually quite heavy, to be honest with you, to carry around. Now I actually got this before we went out to the States and to Germany, and my intention was to take it with me on the plane, but having that 23 kilo limit, I didn't really want to take it in there because this would have taken up quite a lot of that. So that's maybe a bit of a negative for me, but only because I travel. You might be somebody that doesn't travel a lot, or certainly go on a plane a lot with your kit. So this would be ideal for just normal everyday to day kind of work. So the good things I really do like about it, yes, the carbon fibre, which always helps. This is really, really well built. I mean, it is incredibly strong and sturdy. You can see on the floor there's these like little feet, which when you first see it appears to be a little bit gimmicky, and you might think they're getting in the way, but I found when we're out on like uneven terrain like we are today, it does help the tripod to sit really nice and steady, so I quite like that. The head itself is not the kind of head I would ideally like. I'm not a big fan of these trigger type heads, but again, that's just my personal taste. I'm more for the just single ball heads that you can get now. But the thing about this is, it's a well-made trigger head. I can't take that away from it at all. But what I'm not overly keen on, I won't say what I don't like, what I'm not overly keen on is that there are so many dials. I don't know if you can sort of zoom in on this, but we've got so many dials here that we can twist and tighten and push in little buttons, and there's things on the top of it here. To me, it's just too fiddly for the kind of stuff that I'm doing. I think my intention originally when I wanted a second tripod is, the first tripod I have is what I use in the studio a lot for having my tether tools table on, where I put my MacBook and we're tethering in there using Lightroom, what have you. And it was nice to have a second tripod when I'm in the studio to be able to quickly get my camera in between shots and just click, click, drop it onto the head, so it's nice and safe, out the way, saving me kicking the thing when it's on the floor, which I tend to do quite a bit because I'm quite clumsy like that. So it was nice to be able to just drop the camera in really quickly. However, you'll notice, again, this head, I think this head comes with the tripod, and I don't know if you can actually change it and put a different head on. I really don't know, and I've played around with this a lot. Almost feel like I'm like using one of these Transformer toys when I was a kid, and if I twist this and pull that, it's going to become something else. But the head itself here, this is the bit that obviously goes into the base of your camera. You know, you screw it in here, then it goes on. And I wanted something, like I said, you can literally just go drop it in and then carry on doing what you're doing. But first of all, to put this in here into the bottom of the camera, again, if you can maybe zoom in, you can see we've got like this little screw piece, but rather than having like a little flip over handle that I can use my fingers to tighten down, we've got like a little groove where I'm going to have to put a coin or something to tighten it down. So that kind of thing is not ideal, but you may be somebody that puts one of these into the base of your camera and keeps it there, in which case that's not an issue. But also, once it's in the bottom of the camera, I'll twist this down so you can see it. Rather than being something that you clip in, you kind of slide it in on the camera. Let's just pull this. There's another lever here I've got to pull out the way. So it's fiddly around here. And it kind of drops in, and then you have to tighten it down like that. And when you tighten it down, yeah, it's rock solid, but it's just having to tighten it down that I wanted something that would be clip, ideally for me, something that would clip in. So it kind of sounds like I'm saying quite a few negatives, but there are a lot of positives about this tripod. And I think the main one is that it is absolutely rock solid. It's not ideal for the kind of work I do, which is a lot of studio work, putting the camera up and down, up and down. If I was a landscape photographer, I think this would be game on. I think this would be definitely a tripod I would consider. because it's solid, and also I think this head, although it's not ideal for what I do, if I was a landscape guy, this could possibly be, you know, really, really handy. And the reason I say that is because you do have all these things to tighten down, it does, when you get the hang of knowing what does what, it makes it absolutely rock solid. Now this is a D800 that I use. I've only got a 24 to 70mm lens on here at the moment, but I have used this with my 70 to 200. And any of you Nikon guys out there will know that's like having a rocket launcher on your shoulder. It's a huge lens, really, really heavy, but on this, you don't get any creep. Previous heads that I've had before, when I've put it on there, I've walked away, do my thing, all of a sudden you can see the camera starting to do this thing where it's kind of like getting depressed with the weight and starts to push to the floor. This thing, rock solid, horizontal in the position I put it in, so that was a really good positive. But generally I think there's probably not much more I can say about it, but that's the 283 CGH, I'm just reading it underneath the camera there, 283 CGH from Vanguard. Great camera, great tripod, depending on the kind of work you're doing. So there you go, just my opinion. Great tripod, give it a go, give it a look anyway. So see you next time.